Yes, they are.
Just get started or we'll talk all night.
Then it takes that much
This is
longer.
Laura Bryan. She is our forensic death investigator. She came to the Coroners Office under federal law. We put together just a short presentation. We all know we don't want long speeches. So this will be a short presentation, basically what the Coroners Office does. So, Laura Bryan.
Good morning, thank you for having me. As Randy said, my name is Laura. I wanted to give you a little brief background on my career thus far. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I worked at the Sheriff's Department for 10 years, 5 years on the road in SRO, and 5 years in crime scene. Made a little bit of a life change and moved to Virginia, and then moved back to South Carolina was my home. And I was hired on at the Coroners Office in November of 2009 as the Forensic Death Investigator under a federal grant. I am a registered Metalegal Death Investigator through the American Board of Metalegal Death Investigations out of St. Louis University. I'm also the past president of the South Carolina IAI, which is the state-based organization for the largest forensic group in the world. I'm also on the Scientific Working Group for Metalegal Death Investigators, which is called SWIG, which we are developing national standards across the board for the Coroner's Office investigators and medical examiners. So that's a little bit about me. I wanted to start off with the history of the Coroner's Office. Does anybody really know the history of the Coroner's Office? Good morning. It was actually established, the coroner system was actually established back in the medieval times in 1164.
1164?
Excuse me, 1194.
Well,
So,
1690.
a couple of years different. The main focus was on a variety of investigation tools, and what they were doing is they were the ones that levied taxes and created revenue for the crown. After the Norman Conquest, the Coroner's Office kind of switched gears for the crown, and what they were tasked to do was to investigate the deaths of Normans within villages. You had a huge levy of taxes if a Norman was found dead in the villages, and so they were proven to be English. And those taxes were called murdrum, and that's where the word murder was derived. Then in 1836, everything kind of shifted, and that's when the first official act of birth and death certificates was derived in order to start keeping an accurate account of people's births and deaths. Then the Coroners Act of 1877 was established in the Brits, and that's where we get our system today. It's based on the Coroners Act of 1877. So I'm sure everybody is wondering what exactly the Coroner's Office does.
Oh, go ahead. I'm just going to have to turn the music down a bit.
What the Coroner's Office is tasked with is to determine the cause and manner of one's death. The cause is what caused that person to die. The manner is what was it. There's 5. There's natural, accidental, suicide, homicide, and undetermined. And what we do is we contract through Newberry Pathology and Lexington Pathology. Our pathologists in those groups are the ones that assist and help us determine the cause. The Coroner's Office is tasked with determining the manner, but we all work hand in hand with law enforcement, with our pathologists and the families in order to determine the cause or manner. There's 2 ways that we determine cause. Of course, is an autopsy, which is the dissection of the organs. Using toxicology, microscopic examination that will determine. There's also a less invasive way that sometimes we try to use with the families is medical history. If that person has a medical history, we consult with our pathologist and try to narrow down the cause that way. Autopsies are usually, we try to make almost the last resort. That way the families have their remains intact if need be. Any questions so far?
Yeah, when you do that autopsy, is it just like on CSI where they cut the V and I
Yes,
mean, why?
so
And
yes, I'll let Teddy go into the autopsy stuff later.
you keep doing like that, is he a pathologist?
He works for Lexington Assistant. Yes, sir.
Now, when they make a decision to do the autopsy, where does that, is that funding already into the coroner's office, or is that extra funding?
Yes, sir, that funding is budgeted into the coroner's budget every year. The citizens of Lexington County do not pay for autopsies. I guess technically you do because of taxes.
Is it from property tax, or is it tied to a sales tax?
I'm not sure about how.
General fund.
The only time a family is charged with paying for an autopsy is if the family decides they want a private autopsy. Then they have to contact the pathologist's office and pay for that themselves.
And we also may have for an autopsy based on, say, if we have a genetic issue that we may have something can pass down to a family member. If we can get that information to the family, have the children check, they have the potential of saving that child's life down the road. That's another reason that we would do that.
Switching back to the coroner, I'm sure you all know the coroner is an elected official. Under South Carolina State Code 17.5.130, I'm going to give you some of the things the coroner has to qualify for. He or she has to be a U.S. citizen. They must live in the county in which he or she resides. They must be 21 years old, have a high school diploma, no felony convictions. And once they are elected, they have to attend the coroner's school, which is held at the Criminal Justice Academy within a year of taking office. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know, are all states elected, or do they elect their coroner?
No, all states do. Some have medical examiner systems, some have county system, and there's actually states that have both. South Carolina is like coroner system.
And that's one
But
thing.
someone said that last night over the booth, and they saw Carmen's sign that they did not know that the coroner was elected.
Yes, and that's kind of where I was talking about the scientific working group board that I'm on. That's where our biggest tasks is meshing the coroner system and the medical examiners' positions together, because medical examiners are appointed and coroners are elected. So there's completely two different systems that we're trying to bring together into one commonality.
Yeah, but we just said that. What would be the purpose of a medical examiner if you had a coroner? Don't they function the same way, or?
Medical examiner they actually hold a medical degree.
I
They're
like a
medical.
pathologist, like Quincy versus.
Right. Quincy versus me.
You can actually say for a coroner to be Quincy, he does have to have a medical examiner. He does have to have law enforcement. He does have to have fire service. He has to have EMS. He has to depend on nursing staff, doctors.
Oh, sugar.
When you put his whole team together, we know it's the coroner that makes the final ruling. But the coroner uses everybody to make a ruling. He doesn't just say, well, I'm the coroner, so this is it. I'm going to say.
I got you.
He actually has everything in place to make that ruling and make it correct. And that's where things have changed from, say, 15 years ago to now. We've moved much further into relying on everybody as a team to come in and make a decision.
Wow.
And that was Quinn.
And
At the end.
And at the
That's
end,
Quincy at the end. Okay, gotcha.
Because a lot of people would be questioning.
it takes a whole lot.
I'm glad you guys did it. Probably done.
Now the coroner, he or she is tasked with appointing his deputy or her deputy coroners or investigators. Us in the office, we work at the pleasure of the coroner, such as the sheriff's department working at the pleasure of the sheriff. We have to go through background checks, application processes, and then we have to be sworn in and appointed by a circuit court judge within the county that we work for. My job specifically, as we said, it is grant funded. All my equipment, everything, my salary, my health benefits, my car, everything has been paid through the government. Citizens of Lexington County have not spent a dime on everything that I have. I'm basically the CSI of the Coroners Office. We support and assist 14 agencies within the county, municipalities, state agencies. My job is if the sheriff's department's crime scene is not available or a smaller municipality doesn't have a crime scene unit, I come in and I work their death scenes for them. For example, a couple years ago, or last year this time, Chapin had a suicide. I went in and worked their suicide for them. It, decreased manpower. It decreased, revenues that would have had been spent in order for the sheriff's department or whoever to come out. Any questions so far?
You do all of Lexington County?
Yes. The coroner's office responds to all unattended deaths by physicians, any violent deaths, any suicides, any persons that seem to be in good health and there's no apparent reason for them to be dead, any child fatality within Lexington County, and we also respond to any deaths that occur to the hospital within 24 hours or surgically removed.
Did you say that you respond to in within 24 hours to any death in the hospital if they've been in less than 24 hours?
Yes, if they are admitted to the hospital within 24 hours, then we investigate that day. Yes.
I just wondered, and maybe of all my questions, this question is, what is the total budget of the coroner's office in Lexington?
I would refer that one to
It's right around $940,000.
Give a lot for $1.
We do a lot for a little.
Yeah.
But our budget has, I believe our budget has remained the same for several
It has been, it has risen very, very small. I think we probably, and I think we have probably the second lowest budget in any department in the county.
How many total employees do you have?
we have.
We have 10, we have 5 full-time, 5 part-time, and here.
Everybody close to it. You're the low end.
I'm the grant.
This may be a question that somebody else too. There are bound to be some counties within our state who don't have the resources that we have here.
Yes.
In some northern counties. How often are you called to assist, I don't know, Selena or Edgefield or some of these going
I have not been called to assist them, but they are aware of what I can do, and they're aware that they can call us at any time. With the coroner's offices within the state being so small and generally not funded very well, we try to work together as much as possible to help other people. For example, mass fatality plans that we have. We have a joint agreement with Richland County, Calhoun, Orangeburg, the surrounding counties that we can help each other if something happens.
Okay, but do we all pretty much work independently in the labs? When the autopsy is done and some things are sent to a lab, do we send them to a central lab? Within the state, is every county through its local hospital run those lab tests?
Generally, we do it two ways. Since we're two-pronged and have two contracts through two pathology departments, Newberry sends all their stuff to SLED. Lexington can do it in-house, and they also contract out through NMS for more extensive toxicology. For example,
Is that cheaper than SLED?
is it?
Well,
Teddy, I'll refer that one to you.
It's not that it's very much more expensive than SLED would be. SLED to the coroner's office, I guess would be free. There would not be a bill coming out of the
what
coroner's
is the
office.
total cost?
Unless it was right to say if you're trying to DNA or something, some things like that may come from
Yeah, several $1,000s a year.
So for routine autopsies, you may send it where it's cheaper, but for something that is really questionable and needs to be done in a hurry, just go ahead and do it now. So every autopsy's cost and has an interplay in
The general rule of thumb for lab stuff is if it's criminal, it goes to SLED. For anything criminal or child fatality related goes to SLED. because they are a law enforcement state-based lab.
And child fatalities, actually, autopsies are performed on all child fatalities, and that's mandated through SLED. So that would be a,
And by law.
yeah, that would be a, we have to do it, we have no choice. And anything, any toxicology coming from that child death would go to SLED.
And when you say anything criminal, you're talking about anything that's obviously criminal.
Any apparent homicides, basically any homicide, all the blood and everything that needs to go goes to SLED. Any felony DUIs, anything that's related DUI, anything that's going to go to court generally goes to SLED.
Lexington also does a lot of in-house, which is relatively not as cheap as anything.
Yes.
Well, cost associated. But the major issue with the laboratory and choosing how the lab work is done has to do with the non-criminal cases, which is, family member waiting to find out why, husband or wife or child died. And through the National Toxicology Testing Agency, those results can be turned around in a month, 6 weeks. SLED could be 6 to 9 months. And without those results, that final death certificate can't be signed. And families just simply can't wait 9 months to file a death certificate.
If they were waiting on those, say, life insurance policy.
You have that,
Why would SLED take so long?
Well, SLED has decreased in size greatly. Their lab now probably has a third of what it had.
But how many murders do we have in the state?
Well, they handle it every state.
I understand, but how many murders do we have in the state that would take 6 months to get back toxicology?
We had, in Lexington County last year, we had 11. And if you think we have
That's 11 murders, not 11
Criminal deaths.
criminal deaths.
How many criminal
We're
deaths?
always behind
DUI.
Richmond. We're always behind
I'm not
Richmond.
sure the breakdown. I know we had 1,482 deaths in Lexington County alone last year. As of yesterday, we're at 1,473, and we're not even done for the year.
Now, we'll run ahead of all things most of the time, fatalities, all those types of fatalities. We can run ahead of Green. Lexington County, and that.
Traffic related.
Where Richmond County runs ahead of homicide.
Probably because
We're
there's
ahead
such,
of cycles, 47,
We are an asset in some ways, but not.
We have major
And we did
fair
have
through.
one in Lexington, that we believe is gonna be the.
I've never deer related. I haven't learned that deer related fatality.
Oh, yeah, that grade 2, whatever.
We believe that was the cause because it was found in the car, and the guy went over, hit somebody head on.
How do you make a determination that one accident is really not a suicide?
It would be hard, but see, here's the thing, when you're dealing with suicide, you gotta remember, you cannot prove it's a suicide. It would have to be a accident. You've got to be able to do it. Or you can go undetermined. If you're called in the middle, you can go undetermined.
How do insurance companies pay their benefits and look at undetermined?
I think Laura hadn't finished yet.
Oh, I'm
No, I'm
sorry.
done. Are you done? I was asking if you had, I've given the guts of the information. If there's
No,
anything
you
else I
haven't
can.
given the guts of it. We want guts.
Good examples of
I'm all correct.
She's still on all
There is no federal grant money, it's all taxpayer money.
Yeah.
It ain't, when they take our money out of our pockets, send it to Washington, keep 23% of it, send it back to us and tell us how we can spend it. Now, that ain't a good deal. I'm glad we're getting it, and we want to get more of it back. But letting them run our money through Washington is not a good deal.
I'd rather get it somebody else get it.
I'm saying, yeah, we want to get as much of it as we can.
Yeah.
But if I had to do
I'm
it,
just
I'd
grant,
close
is
them all.
that included in y'all's
Let's keep
budget,
our-
or is that separate issue from the budget?
That is separate.
Oh, neato, okay.
I have to do my own grant budget every year. I have to report back because we're through the South Carolina Department of Public Safety Grants Office. I do quarterly reports to them. So we get the money back.
Do we not have a grant writer in the county?
I'm just expecting to have a streamline a little bit.
Grant.
Each department, they have.
Yeah, department.
Is that wasteful spending?
That's wasteful spending.
Generally, what we do for grant writing, we kind of all share. There's already grants generated. We'll take from past grants and develop new grants by using the writing and researching what's available in order to write the grants. It's kind of like doing SOPs and policies and procedures. You don't reinvent the wheel. You use that information and apply it to your office or the subject matter that you're writing.
So, as he was referring, wouldn't it be a lot more economical to have a couple of those grant writers, the county versus all the, like, each agency has a grant writer. Why couldn't we consolidate and just have a couple of them for the whole county?
I actually don't think each agency has a grant
Well,
writer.
but
I
there's
know
more.
the sheriff's department has one, and then
Mhm.
the county admin, Adam, writes grants.
Yeah,
But-
he helps us.
And he helps us. So I don't,
Because you don't have an individual one for your department.
You would
No.
have, see, you would have to budget that, you have to budget it in.
Right. That's why we don't need that many.
For us to budget one, we have, it would blow our budget up. And we
Right.
can't, we really can't do it. Right now, we're actively seeking other ways to get equipment, materials, so we don't have to have brand new systems. What we have to have is stuff that's functional, works well, and gets the job done. So we're pursuing other avenues, so we don't have to get extra money. So we're not doing it, where we're putting in for all this extra stuff, we're just not doing it.
But, so, the county could have a little extra money if they had a couple of grant writers, all the agencies, instead of, one department having
but
three
you have to
grant
remember,
writers.
a department size like the sheriff's department, they'll run 25, 30 grants
How many come
a
through?
year. They usually get approved for most of their
Well, then
grants.
why is their budget so high? Why do they need so much of our money if they're getting all these grants? They're getting our federal money as it is. Okay.
Because we live in the safest county in America.
Oh, yeah, we do, you're
I
right.
think that would
Did you
be
know
a
that?
question that you need to ask the sheriff, not his office.
I'm
Randy
thinking- I was
Catholic, it
just,
says when you're safest town.
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys something. I've had the pleasure of living in 3 different counties where we had the National Sheriff of the Year. In the county I was born in Oklahoma, a guy named Ben Reiser, the Indian, he was National Sheriff of the Year. Moved Jordan out to Pampa, Texas, Brake County, he was National Sheriff of the Year. Our sheriff here has been National Sheriff of the Year. He's the best law enforcement officer that I've ever met.
that's fine. I
And
just
we're
want to know
getting
why
more
the
for our
budget has to
money.
be so high for getting all the federal money.
Well, it's a combination of all of it. And they do, in other words, you go to these other counties, well, they don't have a community watch, that watches. They don't have a local officer who goes in and helps in a, just like Ross had a situation over where he lived with a problem. He got it, but they solved it.
These are new things.
I'm sorry, don't get me started.
No, I was just being curious.
But
And we've taken them
But
from.
we're paying for the quality of the
The fact that it does cost, it costs.
These are just things, we haven't started giving these out yet, and I kinda wanted to get your opinion. These are new, like, grievance pamphlets that the Coroners Office has developed. If y'all would like to look over them, I would love your feedback from them. It's kind of a preview, that way we'll know what we need to fix from, if there's any misunderstanding about them. What it does is it gives you the process of from once you meet the coroner's office, what we do, and what's gonna happen in the process after death.
So, we need to give them to somebody else because we're not gonna,
No, but that's the purpose of it to enlighten us.
well,
What it does when you go to.
I don't wanna be enlightened.
No one wants to be enlightened.
We're gonna tell them almost.
Well, thank you, I'm gonna get you in right now.
I appreciate it. You have a good day.
We're very pleased.